Hello, my name is Satya Batu, and I'm a Pennsylvania Office of Child Development and Early Learning Policy Fellow, founder and administrator for Pennsylvania Community Inclusion for All. Today, we have with us Mary Hall, Communication Specialist at the Pennsylvania Key. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Sadia.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you do.
I am a communication specialist for the Pennsylvania Key. And what that means is that I work with our partners like the Office of Child Development and Early Learning and the Early Intervention Technical Assistance, and of course the Pennsylvania Key, to get information to families and early learning providers and the community at large.
Today, you are joining us to talk about the Pennsylvania Promise for Children campaign. So tell us, what is Pennsylvania Promise for Children campaign?
The Pennsylvania Promise for Children, also known as PA's Promise, it's a campaign to help families make good choices about their child's early learning. And it also helps them choose quality early learning programs that are right for their families. The Pennsylvania Office of Child Development and Early Learning, or OCDEL, is a primary partner in Pennsylvania's Promise.
Share with us some of the ways Pennsylvania Promise for Children supports families of young children and the professionals working with them.
One of the primary ways that we support families with young children is through the Pennsylvania Promise for Children website, and that's www.papromiseforchildren.com. That website is filled with all kinds of information that families with young children need to know. It has information about their child's development. It has information about resources families might need, such as early learning programs, how to find early learning programs in their community. It has activities, early learning activities they can do with their children. And these are everyday early learning activities. So you don't need to go out and buy fancy things or special tools or anything like that. You can do activities with your child in everyday activities that you do, like making dinner or doing laundry. It also has information about families. And these are families with children, with young children, and these are their stories. These are their ideas about early learning, their experiences about early learning. So you can read stories about families that are just like yours.
That's wonderful. Do you have any newsletters that come out of the Pennsylvania Promise for Children?
We do. We have 3 different newsletters. Our first newsletter, and probably our most popular, is the Learning is Everywhere newsletter. And this is geared for families with children ages birth to kindergarten. And it comes out on a monthly basis. It is free for anybody who wants to subscribe. It has information with early learning activities. It has information about resources, information that families with young children need to know, such as how do you prepare your child for kindergarten? How do you keep your child healthy and safe? It has all kinds of information just for families of children birth to kindergarten, age 5. One of our other newsletters that we have is our Kindergarten Here I Come. And this is perfect for families with preschool age children, ages 3 and 4, who are getting ready to make that transition into kindergarten. And this newsletter has all kinds of information about how you can help your child get ready for kindergarten. And they typically get that newsletter about the year before their child enters the kindergarten. One of the other newsletters we have is Kindergarten Here I Am. And this is for our families with children who have kindergarten age children. These are the children who have already entered kindergarten, because just because your child has started kindergarten doesn't mean this transition is finished. That transition can continue through the kindergarten year. So this has ways that families can help their child learn during that kindergarten year and support that growth and that transition. All of the newsletters are free. Families and early learning professionals and grandparents and aunts and friends of families, friends with children, with young children, they can all sign up to get the early learning newsletter. And if they go to paspromiseforchildren.com, www.papromiseforchildren.com, they can sign up for 1, 2, or all 3 of the newsletters.
Wow, this is amazing. The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically impacted our lives. How has the Pennsylvania Promise for Children supported families of young children and the professionals working with them during this pandemic?
We have worked very closely with the healthcare professionals in Pennsylvania and the Pennsylvania Department of Health to get information and resources that families with young children need to know or want to know about keeping their child and their family safe during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Mhm.
We have a special page, special resources on the PA's Promise for Children website that has lots of different resources for families around the pandemic information. That information is updated regularly, and you can actually find a link for that page on the PA Promise homepage.
That's wonderful. Let's talk about inclusion now. How does Pennsylvania Promise for Children support all families practice meaningful inclusion in their communities?
One of the ways that PA's Promise helps with inclusion of all children is to provide information and resources for families who may have questions or concerns about inclusion, what that is, what that may look like in a community, what resources are available to support those families. We work very closely with a lot of entities and agencies in Pennsylvania to connect them to those resources. One of the other ways that we support those families is by providing information about Pennsylvania's Connect Helpline. For those that are unfamiliar about the Connect Helpline, it's a toll-free number, 1-800-692-7288. And the Connect Helpline helps provide information about a child's development, and this connects those families to those early intervention services in Pennsylvania. One of the other ways that we work with provide information about inclusion for families is to share family stories. And these are stories from real Pennsylvania families that they have decided to share their story about their child and their family's experience with inclusion, as well as other early learning programs and early learning situations. We also work with the Pennsylvania Community Inclusion for All. We're happy to be a partner and support the efforts that you're doing with your work around Pennsylvania Community Inclusion for All. And we have a information that's available about that group as well.
Wonderful. Finally, what are some of the different platforms where we can find Pennsylvania Promise for Children?
Well, in addition to the website, www.papromiseforchildren.com, we have support through social media. We have a Facebook page that you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can also find us on Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We try to get as many outreach as we possibly can to reach families on different social media platforms.
That is amazing and so helpful. Thank you so much for joining us, Mary, today and sharing this wonderful information that I'm sure Pennsylvania families will benefit and the professionals will also benefit a lot from.
Thank you, Sadia.
I would encourage my viewers to please visit the Pennsylvania Promise for Children website and all the digital platforms that Mary mentioned, and please access the online available resources and also subscribe to the wonderful newsletters. I would also like to thank our viewers at Pennsylvania Community Inclusion for All for their support and contributions. To learn more about us, please find us on Facebook or visit the Pennsylvania Promise for Children website at www.papromiseforchildren.com. Thank you.